So, quite a few of you have been asking me about this game I'm going to this coming weekend, Gangster City. A few people have asked what it's about. I have touched on it a bit before. It's like gang warfare. It's very laid back, Milsim. It's not, super. It's not serious. It's quite a fun event to do. If you want to try a weekend event out, but you don't want to full delve into people barking orders at you and stuff like that, I very much recommend this one to try. It's at Swinnerton Training Camp, MOD Training Camp, that is, in Stafford. And it's a stone's throw for me. It's like 30-40 minutes, so right on my doorstep. But many of you have been asking me, what guns are you taking? We need to know what guns you're going with and what you're running. Now, this is going to come as a shock to many of you, but I tend to go over-prepared. Speaking to people, and I've been telling them what I'm taking to the game, they're like, why are you taking so much now? I want to talk to you about the golden rule that I've always used in Airsoft, which is, apart from the obvious rules in Airsoft, is one is none, two is one. Now, the whole thing about this rule is, let's say I go to a game and I've got my MP9 and that's all I take. It's one gun. If something was to happen to this, it goes down, I get a malfunction, or there's a part broken and I can't fix it, I'm now shit out of luck and I can't play the rest of the day. So one, you have a fault, is now none. Two is one. What that means is I go out with my MP9 for the day, I'm blatting around having fun, this goes down, oh no, what am I going to do? Well, I've got a spare with me. And I've always sort of ran by this rule, this one is none and two is one. I can't remember where I first heard it. It just covers your arse in case the inevitable inherent issue pops up, and it keeps you in the game zone. So what am I going to be taking now? The first things I'm going to be taking, I'm going to talk about because I use them as a demonstration on this bench. I'll be taking my MP9 and the Vorsk VMP1. Now, the sole reason for me taking these guns, I'm not going to be using them as primaries. That is not the intention for these guns at all. I've got a bunch of mags for this. I've ordered some more mags for the VMP1. These will only be used if I go out with a bolt action. And that will only be if I go out with... If I do some testing this week and I've built an SRS, I've got the TAP 41. If they're good to go and I feel like I want to take the bolties, it's not a certain yet. I'm going to need something for, CQB, there's buildings there, people getting close up. You need to have something because with a bolt action, you can only engage to a certain distance, which is what these will be used for. The only other use case for these potentially would be if I was running the 249, because if I go into a building, I can't use a 249 now. With a 249, I'd probably use something more like a pistol. The only limitation on the 249 is it's full auto and you can't full auto indoors. So the MP9 I'll be taking, I'll be running five mags with this. I think I'll have 5 long mags with this. The annoying thing is that the spare mags don't come with the covers, but I think I'm probably just going to strip them off anyway because they'll go in pouches a little bit easier. And they're not as bulky on your gear. Can I pull this off now? I've had this thing off multiple times, trying to gauge how I prefer to run the mags. And now I've come to a video, there we go. Take it off, so it'll run like this. And the beauty about it is, let's say it gets really hot and I want to run a light loadout, I could very much take the MP9 out, and if I wanted to take a bunch more mags, I could take the VMP1 mags as well. So that's what I'll be using SMG-wise. Let's get to the next set. So it comes as no shock that the predominant rifle that I'm going to be running is the MWS. Now again, one is none, two is one. This is why I'm taking 2 MWSs, just in case I have a problem. I'll be running with the Toxicant Rattler MCX CSAW Spear LT. That's a mouthful, isn't it? But I really like this rifle. At 1 joule, it runs crazy good on 0.4s and even 4.8s. And I can go through, with the longer guns, I'm going to go through how I've got them set up. So it's a Toxicant Rattler, the CSAW. I've got a Laylax 250mm Prometheus 603 in a barrel with a pink 60 Flamingo rubber and a Titan nub. As well as that, it has no, doesn't anything to do with the performance. This is just an empty can, it's a dummy. This is the Toxicant SIG suppressor they do for their SIG MCX line of products. This is a VFC MCX stock, 6-hour brandy, which is great. It just went on there and it works. I'll be using a Real Steel Magpul K2 Plus pistol grip. And the last accessory on there is a primary arms. I think this is the SLX6. I can't actually find this mount since I last bought it. I bought this a few years ago. But this is a 1:6 reticle. You can also get these in a 1:8. The beauty about these low-powered variable optics is, even though I'm running a scope on there, it's going to help me see things at further distances, see where my BBs are landing when engaging at further distances. But then if I go indoors, I can put the magnification down to 1 and I can see through it almost like a red dot. I think it's just a tad more than 1 times, but it is super clear. Very good glass. Extremely good scope from Primary Arms. Tried to get another one of these mounts, couldn't find it anywhere. And that is how I'm going to be running the Toxicant MCX Spear LT. So I'll be running it on Marui mags just because I'm having a pain keeping the GMP mags sealed at the moment. So I will be taking the P mags. If I've got some that are, hold the seal, then I might run them as spares throughout the day. But I do have 7 Marui mags, which I'll predominantly be using in this MCX. But let's get to what I'm going to be running alongside this in case I have a problem, or in case I'm enjoying running the MWS platform, as I always do, and I want to switch it up a little bit. And I'll be using the Guns Modify 416A5. Very cool gun. I have since I last tested it, I think I've put in the same barrel setup as the Toxicant SIG. The 250mm 6.03 Lilacs in a barrel. I've switched out black rubber, which I put in there, to the pink 60 Flamingo with a Titan nub, and same setup. This the Toxicant gun is running the original Toxicant valve, just with a DI wide end pass, which works absolutely well. This has got my end pass in, as you'll see from the blue colour in the magwell, and this is set to exactly 1 joule. And apart from that, the gun's pretty much bog stock. I don't think I've done anything else to it. I run mostly real parts if I can do. This is I think it's off the Mark 18 RVG. So Magpul RVG grip. I did think about putting a suppressor on, but I thought I'm going to have to keep this one short. It's got the standard grip and stock that it comes with out of the box. This setup is just a copy. I think this is the Watson one. What's unique about this setup is I've got dual switches for the light and the laser. It's a very inexpensive setup. I think this is the Watson one. But the Watson, I think this is the CQBL, I think it is, comes with a separate mount that directly takes a Surefire style light. So I decided just to run this as an all-in-one piece. It keeps the rail free. I haven't got to mount the rail. If the rail was M-lock, I would mount the torch a little bit further forward. But I just thought this was cool. I've got IR in case I want to do some quick acquisition doing CQB. It's a red laser, which is good. And then visible laser, sorry. And then I've got IR if I want to run it with the night vision. Again, very inexpensive setup. And I've got both fire modes on there. I put the grip on there just to make it a little bit more ease of use in a tighter environment. What I'm running is an optic. Now this is a Vortex Strike Eagle 1:6 by 24. Very impressed with the glass on this, if I do say so myself. I was looking at more LPVOs. Empire had the Vortex sights in, so I ended up buying the Strike Eagle and the Crossfire 2. This one, the Strike Eagle's like double the price compared to the Crossfire 2, and to be honest, you're not getting that much. It has got a better reticle. So yeah, if you could switch to it, then great. And I'm also using the Vortex Cantilever 2-inch offset mount, and yeah, this is how I want to run it. Again, LPVOs, they look big on camera, but I think I'm getting more into running LPVOs over red dots, especially at a site like Swinnerton, where yes, there are buildings, but the space between the buildings is quite vast. Again, I'll be running it on Tokyo Marui standard MWS mags, unless I decide to tackle the GMP mags and get them working again. But there we have it. This will run on anything up to 4s and above. which I'll probably be running the MWSs on 0.4s, and this is the second MWS I'll be taking. So if this is just if I want to run an MW, I might only take these two guns out all weekend, but I like to have choice. I like to see how the game's going. Perhaps I want to switch it up, which brings me on to the next set of guns. So let's get them out and talk about them. So what if I get to the game and just for some reason, because it does happen, I decide I don't want to run an MWS. I still want to run a gas blowback, but the M4, I just want something a little bit more fun. Maybe do a bit more full auto compared to semi-auto. And that's where my Tokyo Marui AKM comes into place. So this is a Tokyo Marui AKM GBBR, and the bolt and everything like that is stock apart from one of my downgrade valves. You have the Rifle Dynamics M4 stock adapter. This just keeps the AKM familiar because I do run a lot of M4 MWS platforms. Real steel mag pull. I think this is the MOE AK grip. Very good grip. Running an angry gun. No, not an angry gun. And a Bowmaster. 130% recoil spring in the top, which makes this thing look and sound as realistic as it can be, and it bumps the cycle rate up. I'm running the Aaron Smith SAG Mark 2.1 front end. Very cool front end. I do like it a lot, but stripping the gun down while this thing's on is nigh impossible, which again brings me back to the golden one is none, two is one rule, because let's say I have an issue with this gun, but I do want to run the AK. The last thing I'm going to be doing on site is stripping all this apart to get the things out. But barrel rise, I'm running a 250mm MWS barrel, Lilac 6.03 with a 60-degree flamingo rubber and the Jaeger Precision Alpha Arm, the 2.0. I've got a Silverback Desert Tech MDR flash hider, which came off one of the MDRs on the front there. I'm just running again a Watson Surefire because it's cheap and cheerful. It does what it needs to do. I've got the pressure switch located on the top there with a real Magpul MVG grip. And what this just enables me to do is I tend not to, with the AK, run a grip like this. I tend to rest my hand like that, so I could cut this grip down. But while I'm doing so, I've got all the access I need to get on those pressure switches going in buildings, especially in the dark areas. In terms of red dot, I'm running a Vortex Crossfire. It's just a simple red dot. I think I had this with a bunch of kit that I traded, but that's how I'm running the AKM. And you know, if I want to run an AK, I might be going with this one. Now, if I'm not going with the AKM, but I'm still feeling a bit more of a bad guy-esque style loadout compared to an MWS, I've now got the adjustability of the AKX. Now, the more I handle this AKX, the more I fall in love with it over the AKM. I don't know what it is. I think it just makes more sense. But this is a bog standard Tokyo Marui AKX. I did upgrade the hop, which you've seen in the recent video. So it's got a 60-degree pink Flamingo Sniper Mechanics hot rubber in there with a 2.0 Alpha Arm, the Jaeger Precision one. We're running the standard 200mm Marui barrel just because I didn't think I was going to get one in time. So I thought we'll just run it, and you know, if it's not crazy accurate, it's not crazy accurate. I do love the fact that this has the little flared flange on the selector, so you can operate it with your firing hand. I do miss that going back to the AKM. I didn't have to downgrade this at all. It's running pretty much bang on a dual, straight out the box. It could be the fact, you know, they've changed something, but I really don't know. I haven't extended the barrel. It's running the same barrel. And yeah, it's very cool now compared to the AKM. It's not quite as fun on that aspect. But we've got a Mi Pro MOR red dot sight. It's about 1,600, 1,800 euros worth of red dot here. And again, I just want to get out and use this sight, which is why I've decided to use it. But it does stack up with the features because I don't have to run a PEC. I don't have to run a laser. It's all built into this. I already have the optic. I just thought I'd throw it on there. It came off my MTW. So I've got the laser if I want to use it. And then I've got the Olight Warrior Mini, I think it is, Odin Mini or whatever it's called. on the side there, on the pressure switch. So if I'm going into dark buildings and stuff, or if I go out with a bit of nighttime stuff and I want to run the AKX, I can see where I'm going. The great side about this is I've got the folding stock, so if I'm getting in and out of vehicles, or if I'm going in and out of buildings and want to make myself as small of a silhouette as possible, I can do that. Really love the AKX, and I can't wait. I think buying this AKX and working on an AK again, it's just made me want to take an AK to this event. Now, the chances are that both these guns don't ever make it out the gun bags, but I like choice. You know, if I've been out with the MWSs for the first half of the day and I'm just feeling a bit lethargic and I want to try something new, then I'll take an AK out, and these run great on full auto, and I can go and have an absolute blast with these things. So those are the AKs out the way. I don't know why I've got these rail segments on there. I don't know where they've come from, but that's how I'll be running them. On to the next thing. This next one breaks the golden rule. I might not even take it, but with these events, especially at Gangster City and similar events, what you tend to find is that, you know, after you've gone all day Saturday through Saturday night, everyone's like lethargic and a bit tired the Sunday. They tend to ramp up the fighting on the Sunday to like a penultimate ending. And I think this is where this could shine. And it's none other than my gas M249. This is running a different mag now. This is the S&T M249 mag that's been modified to fit because the A&K ones are garbage. And yeah, I just thought, I'm still on the fence. This can go in its own gun bag. I can even leave it in the car for the most time. But what am I running on this? This is pretty much bog standard. It's got a HPA conversion on there, which is dead easy to do. I did go with the sliding stock that they did. So I've got that separate just so you can make it a little bit shorter. It's got a real B&T front rail system on there, which I managed to get my hands on from a friend. I was running it on an A&K box, like I say, but I've changed this out. I'm not a super fan. I bought the AirTac adapter. I'm not a super fan of the way this wire looks, or the hose looks, but we can get to that. And this is their newer style of adapter, so it's got the little spring one. I've done videos and all this stuff, you can find them on the channel, to better latch into the upper. But of course, if I want to, I could always pull this box mag off, if I can get it off, and I can just run it without the box, and I can just use the stick mags, which I've done in the past. This is such a fun gun to use, but you do tend to burn through the ammo on it. It's a great system. I haven't had to do anything with the barrel or anything like that. The first time I took it out running it on HPA, it ran like a dream, more accurate than I'd want a support gun to be. So I haven't messed with it. Don't think it really needs it. I've put the Jaeger Precision recoil kit in there, so it's a brass recoil weight that sits in the standard bolt. Very inexpensive. It's only about $24.99. Very, very cheap. And that's how I'll be running it. I've got a real EOTech on there. I think it's a 2008 or 2009 model, which should help because this thing does jump all over the place with a recoil kit in there. So that's something I might run. The only other two guns I might run, which I'm not going to go into at the moment because again it's a bit of a wild card. I might not even take them with me, are the two bolt actions. Again, this goes back to like I say, how you feel on the day. If I don't know, I'm super tired and I don't want to be running and gunning, I could just go out there with a bolty and still have a bit of fun, even if I'm not feeling right. I'm just trying to cover all bases. So that is all the stuff you're seeing that I'll be taking. In terms of sidearms, not 100% yet. I think I'm just going to take the TMG17 and the TM-M45, and we'll see how that goes. I think predominantly you're most interested in the rifles anyway. So that's where I'm at. Now, this might change before the weekend. Who knows? I might thin it down, but I just want to be so covered. I don't want to worry about, oh God, if I broke the only gun that I've took. And, you know, if you run, let's say you run an M4 AEG, you could take an M4 AEG and have a spare M4 AEG and have one kit bag and you could go super light. But what's the point? And people keep telling me I need to get out to games more. What's the point in having all these fantastic replicas when I don't get out to that many games? I just go and take a bunch of them out to a game and have some fun. So hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, let me know in the comments below and we'll do more of that in future. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check the links down in the description below. And as always, from me and still a very clean bench, We'll see you in the next video.